Good morning. Welcome to Matenaer On Air. Jane Matenaer, Greg Bach, and Calvin Butenhoff coming to you from our studio in a chilly downtown Waukesha. If you ever want to join the show, 855-75 Civic
Very
is the
good.
new number that we're using. That's because I have it written down. 855-75 Civic. You can call and you can text at that number or leave a comment on the live stream if you're watching on Facebook, YouTube, and former Twitter. Greg Bach.
Hi.
Lots of stuff coming up today. Next hour, Rich Barnhouse is the president of WCTC. He's going to be joining us in studio, talking about how WCTC is really going to be at the forefront of AI technology.
This is fantastic stuff.
It is great stuff for Wisconsin.
Yeah, and love seeing it coming out of a technical college.
Yep, we talked about that a lot, how important they are, because again, four-year universities, not necessarily everybody's cup of tea. So Rich Barnhouse will be joining us in studio next hour at 11:33, and then our regular Wednesday weather and wine with Civic Media meteorologist Brittany Merlot at 11:50. She will be joining us to tell us about the end of false spring.
That is what we're calling it here on the Matenaer On Air show.
Yes, the end of false. Yesterday was 72 degrees. Highest temperature I think ever set in Milwaukee in history. And then I stood outside last night from about 8 until 8:30 just watching the lightning show.
Yeah, I drove home in it.
It was incredible.
It was beautiful. It was absolutely beautiful.
It was quite something.
And then you woke up this morning, you're like, cool.
Well,
2 degrees.
We knew it was good. We knew this was coming.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's bitterly cold out there. So we'll find out what's coming up. We're gonna be heading in the right direction.
We're still in February. We gotta keep saying that to ourselves.
I know. March. First day of March, Friday.
Oh my goodness.
I know.
Leap year.
We want to start off though with giving acknowledgments and all respect to a Cherry Starr, who was the wife of former Green Bay Packers quarterback and coach Bart Starr. Cherry Starr has passed away at the age of 89 at her home in Birmingham, Alabama. Family members say that she had been fighting cancer for years.
Yeah.
But what a remarkable legacy the Stars have had.
I'm not kidding you. When I read the article, I started to tear up just to the joy people had with her and like talking about it now. She was just a great human.
They both were.
Yeah.
Just the amount of, the Rawhide Ranch that they started.
Yeah.
They were very involved in cancer charities. They were high school sweethearts, married for more than 60 years.
Gross.
Before Bart Starr died in 2019.
Yeah.
He, of course, led the Pack to league championships in 1961, 1962, 65, and 66. And then, of course, victories in the first Super Bowl in 67 and the second one in 1968. Bart Starr named NFL MVP in 66 and inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame in 1977, also the head coach from 75 through 83.
It's really a shame that Bart Starr really didn't do anything with his life.
Right?
What a slacker.
I know. It just that as a couple, boy.
Oh my gosh.
They could have really done something.
Shiftless layabouts.
No, they were just a wonderful, wonderful couple and so impactful. Certainly not just in Green Bay, but all around the country. Cherry Starr was last in Green Bay in 2022, according to her son.
Yeah.
And this is a really sweet quote, too, for anybody who lives in the Green Bay area. Quote, to her final breath, she would always talk about how she missed getting up there. In the obituary I drafted today after she passed away, I noted the favorite trips she would have. It wasn't going to Alaska. It wasn't going to Hawaii. It was going to Green Bay.
And I'd love to share what he also said to her is, I guess, Bart did this before his death, but after Bart Starr died, Cherry continued the tradition of writing letters to every starting quarterback in the NFL, asking for them to donate an autograph helmet for an auction for the Children's Cancer Awareness Month each September.
Great couple.
Great couple. And I hope that Bart Starr Jr. continues that legacy. Many condolences to the Starr family.
A life well lived.
Yes.
2 lives really well lived. Stephen from Green Bay on the line. Good morning, Stephen. Did you want to check in about the loss of Cherry Starr?
Yeah, I was actually yesterday, I don't know if you guys know this, but it was Founders Day in the city of Green Bay. It was Green Bay's 170th birthday. And at that event, they actually had a moment of silence for Cherry Starr. And they went in a little bit about just how impactful those two were to the city of Green Bay.
Yep.
Bart Starr has a bridge named after him. It's the Bart Starr Memorial Bridge. And it just really goes to show that people that play for the Packers, yes, they're NFL players, and yes, they're making a boatload of money just like any other NFL players, but they give back to the community. I mean,
Yes.
Donald Driver gives back enormously to the city of Green Bay,
Oh yeah.
and they're really part of the community. And you run into a Packer at Woodman's or whatever, and they'll talk to you just like they're your neighbor next door. It's absolutely amazing if you ever get to experience it.
That's great. That's great, Stephen. Thank you for calling. Always thank you for listening.
I've always believed that not just the Packers, but the Brewers and the Bucks, we seem to be very lucky that we are a very drama-free team. In the annals of the history of sports, we have not only just very drama-free players
For the most part.
but also just these incredible people who, once they get here, they get their roots in here. I mean, Christian Yelich loves this place. Giannis loves this place.
Yes.
And it's so wonderful to see them be a part of our community. And even if they get traded or they retire, they're still here.
They're still part of the fabric.
Exactly.
Very much so. Again, all best wishes and love and respect to the Star family after the loss of Cherry Star yesterday at the age of 89. Going to move on to something quite on the opposite end of the spectrum, shall we say.
Welcome to Matenaer On the Air.
One of our favorite Congress people, Lauren Bobo Boebert of Colorado, posting yesterday afternoon about the Biden crime family.
We need Biden crime family music.
We'll find a theme.
Yeah.
And at approximately the same time, Lauren Boebert's oldest son was being arrested in her district in Colorado.
And not for like trespassing, not for just like, oh, he's
jaywalking,
stole a book from a bookstore, not even a DUI.
No.
What was it?
18-year-old Tyler Boebert arrested yesterday afternoon, facing 22 charges, including several felonies relating to a string of crimes in her Colorado district. So I guess it's kind of nice if you're going to crime, you want to crime in your home district. People know you there.
That's our crime guy.
That's our crime guy. Tyler Boebert arrested after a string of vehicle trespass and property thefts. He's facing 4 counts of criminal possession of a financial device. You and I were talking about this off the air.
I think it's going to be a device that's used to, like, the ones that I know about are the ones that you can put on card swipers on gas station machines or at convenience stores, ATMs,
yep.
Where once you put your card in, the device that's on top of it can read the information. You can extract it
and steal your numbers.
If I'm gonna take a bet on what that very vague term is, I'm gonna say it's one of those.
Yep. Tyler Boebert's 4 counts of criminal possession of a financial device, 4 counts of criminal possession of ID documents, as well as a count of conspiracy to commit a felony. But we're not done.
No.
He's also charged with 4 misdemeanor counts of ID theft, 3 misdemeanors of first-degree criminal trespass, 3 misdemeanor counts of contributing to the delinquency of a minor. And he's charged with 3 counts of the petty offense of theft less than $300.
He's just going all out.
Well, it's kind of a family tradition.
Yeah, exactly.
Being arrested in Colorado because his father has been arrested
many times,
but twice just in the last year.
Yes.
And of course, Mom Bobo has been arrested several times. And in fact, when she and the other candidates in the new district that she's running in Colorado, when all the candidates were at their first forum, the moderator asked them who here has been arrested, and every single one of the candidates raised their hands, and they got applause.
Yep. That's the word. That is the Law and Order party, my friends. Law and Order. When reading this article, it also said that one of the arrests that Jason Boebert, who is Lauren's now ex-husband,
yep.
We're actually is really celebrating, really, when it comes down to it, because he was arrested 20 years ago this month. So really, Tyler, their son, it's
an anniversary
exactly
of my dad's first arrest.
20 years is I think 22 crimes. I think that's the
Now I want to make it very clear that my heart goes out for parents of troubled kids. It's got to be
Absolutely.
extraordinarily difficult. It's got to be extremely challenging. But there is, I guess it's the hypocrisy
Yes.
that bothers me so much. Again,
Yeah.
Lauren Bobo Boberts, back the blue. I'm all about, law enforcement and standing with law enforcement, except, and of course, we're the party of family values
Yep.
and God and Jesus, except a couple little side things.
When it doesn't apply, when it doesn't have to apply to me. What do you always say?
Rules for thee, but not for me.
Exactly. And it's so infuriating because one of the things, I know this sounds petty to bring up, but she was, apprehended once for like screaming at cops because they were doing their job arresting underage drinkers.
And she told them to run from the cops.
Yeah. I mean,
she told them to run from the police.
I do not believe for 1 minute that person who did that then is different from the person today. And that is my biggest problem, is that hypocrisy that you were talking about. You do the crime, fine. You do the crime, then the law will determine what your sentence is if you are found guilty. I mean, who knows? He'll wiggle his way out of most of them because it's nice to have a Congress person in the family.
Oh, absolutely. Pull a couple strings, pull up a couple favors. And I would just suggest, Lauren, she's got 3 other sons. This is her oldest one. He's also the new father that made her a grandmother at the age of 36.
Yeah.
Apparently no longer with that girlfriend.
Nope.
But they still have a child together. I don't know, Bobo. Maybe you should drop out of Congress and spend a little more time with your kids.
Well, I don't think she's going to be.
Do you think she's not going to?
She changed districts. That makes her a carpetbagger. And she's also told them, I'm not drama. And that's.
If you want to check in on this, 855-75-CIVIC, stay close. You're listening to Matenaer On Air. This is the Civic Media Radio Network.
She don't mean no harm, she just don't know what else to do about it.
UK.
Most of us can agree we should have the freedom to make our own medical decisions. Politicians should have no role at all, but not California mega millionaire Eric Hovde. Hovde said, I am totally opposed to abortion and I'm 100% pro-life. And he supported overturning Roe v. Wade, the court case that protected abortion rights. Hovde's been supported by Wisconsin Right to Life, an extreme anti-abortion group that supports banning abortion, even in cases of rape and incest, and threatens doctors and nurses with criminal charges for providing abortion care. With views like that, Hovde could be a crucial vote in favor of a national abortion ban, letting politicians decide what's right for women. Call Eric Hovde at his California office at 714-730-4444. Tell him his position on abortion is dangerous for Wisconsin women. Paid for by A Better Wisconsin Together, Inc.
Welcome to Matenaer On Air. Jane Matenaer, Greg Bach, Sweet Cal B on the board. We're coming to you from our studio in downtown Waukesha. Just a reminder to download the fabulous Civic Media app.
So wonderful.
So wonderful.
And today it's only $200.
The Civic Media app, Greg Bach, is free.
What are we doing?
I know, we're just giving it away for nothing.
Holy cow.
If you download the app, you can listen to all of the stations all across the network and all across the state of Wisconsin. And you can call or text directly from the app, which is a pretty snappy thing as well. Or you can call, and if you're watching on the live stream today on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter, we have this really nifty scrolling feature.
Oh, I'll turn the scrolling on. Watch this.
Yeah.
Watch this. Watch. Everybody in the live stream.
Let's
technology.
3, 2, 1.
Ooh, Ooh, see, if you were watching the live stream right now, you'd know what's going on. You'd be in the loop.
855-75-CIVIC if you want to call and or text. We were talking about Colorado Representative Lauren Bobo Boebert, whose 18-year-old son was arrested yesterday. 22 different counts. He's been busy. So we're wondering if you want to check in on this. Charles is on the line from Green Bay. Good morning, Charles. Thank you so much for joining us.
How are you doing this morning?
Good, thank you. How about yourself?
Well, I'm trying to drive in Green Bay, but that's okay. They finally got the road straightened out. Only in Wisconsin, it's winter coats, swimsuits by free, so, we're good. The reason why, and I have a sneaking suspicion, and it's the same reason for Marjorie Taylor Greene, the reason why Bobart wants to be reelected, if she's elected 3 times to the House of Representatives, she's entitled to retirement funds.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Forever.
And she's also entitled to health insurance forever.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a great retirement package, right, Charles? If you can just serve in Congress for 3 terms and you're set, man.
6 years is all it takes.
That seems like a pretty good deal.
I think in Milwaukee Common Council, you have to only serve 2 times and you get pension.
Good work if you can get it.
Yep.
Charles, thank you so much. Appreciate you listening. Thanks for calling in. Be careful on the roads. Tom from LA. Good morning, Tom. How's it going?
Good morning, Jane. Good morning, Greg. First, we the people ultimately are the government, not the corporations. So people wake up, please, and realize that we need to get money out of politics and restore government back to we the people. Second, it's amazing. If the Republicans are spewing it, you can bet that they're doing it. Just every time they come up with some, because honestly, I don't think Democrats are that creative in terms of some of the stuff that Republicans do. I mean, it's a projection, but for the people out there who don't know what projection is, it's if the Republicans are spewing it, they're doing it. And
should be a T-shirt.
I hope that I hope we really, really beat this into the ground, just like they would if there was one person that came over the border or some person of color that does something, that becomes the whole thing for the masses of that population. I hope people really realize that Bobo's son is a criminal, and he probably shouldn't be allowed in the state. Honestly, he probably should go to jail.
Well, to be fair, Tom, he is innocent until proven guilty.
It's going to get pled down.
Yeah, he'll
anyway.
get pled down. He'll go away.
Get pled down.
He'll get some community service.
If that.
Yeah.
And thank you so much, Tom. As always, really appreciate it.
Really quick, Sherry from HorrorCon, who is actually a regular live stream watcher, is asking, how do I get the live stream? You can go to Civic Media on Facebook. You can go to Matenaer On Air on Facebook, Civic Media on YouTube, or you can watch on Twitter, now X, on Matenaer On Air, at Matenaer On Air.
Right.
If you want to comment, you have to go to Facebook or YouTube.
Thank you for that clarification.
No problem.
Text coming in from Dave from New Berlin. Dave says, thank you, Jane. I try to consume conservative media as well, but I don't think I'll be hearing about this on Newsmax.
I don't think so. Yeah.
Probably not.
Probably skip over that one.
Yeah, I think that's a fair guess.
We don't want to talk about the Boebert crime family.
Again, I feel badly for anyone who has troubled family members, troubled teenagers. I can't imagine the challenges. I really can't.
Yeah.
And then to be in the public eye like that. But if that is your position, then you best watch yourself and your own household.
And for me personally, I'm not talking about the kid. The kid will go through what he needs to go through. Hopefully justice prevails and all the things happen. I'm directing all of my snark at her because she is the one spending the last 4 years plus trying to just create tumult and chaos. And now was always a hypocrite, but come on now.
We had a couple comments on the live stream from Tony checking in. She 1000% is not going to be back in Congress. Tony, you're probably right.
Yeah.
Again, she moved to a different district. She said it's been a challenging time for my family, so we moved to a different district. Maybe they're the move to a different district because that's where her son was criming.
I mean, and in the best of times, moving districts doesn't look good.
And they're already calling her a carpet. People
Yeah.
in this new district
Yeah.
are already calling her a carpetbagger. And so this might be it for her. Although she'll land somewhere else.
She will become a pundit. She will write books. She will.
OnlyFans.
Look at Calvin. Calvin had to turn his head.
Come on, that seems like for
I guarantee.
Bobo?
I said this before. If she does that, if she starts a page, she'll make $5 million the first day.
That's really disturbing.
Yeah. Well,
Now you're probably not wrong. But
and she's going to run for Congress again down the road and say she's learned Senate
she
or
learned her
governor.
lesson. Oh, that's
Yeah, they always come
interesting.
back and they've always learned.
Yeah, okay. Moving along, we did want to acknowledge this. The Milwaukee Common Council yesterday has backed extensions of their existing agreement with private ambulance services after reassurances that they've changed policies, and this all is after this poor, unfortunate woman last month was at the bus stop. She fell, hit her head, was laying on the ground when it was bitterly, bitterly cold, when we had a really severe snap of cold weather. She called 911 and the ambulance came, but did not see her and then left the area and she died.
Yeah.
And so at least now there is some acknowledgement that they're changing the ambulance companies anyway, are changing some of their policies so that they get out of their vehicles to take a look around. So this doesn't happen again.
Yeah, I mean, we were talking about this before the show, and I get where you were coming from, and it seems to me that a little more looking would have done some good. And
yes, but I don't know what. Everything is insurance based.
Yeah,
at least from my point of view. If I have that kind of company, I'm going to look at every hypothetical on how I'm going to get sued and how to protect myself from being sued. So I'm assuming that that's where this "don't get out of the ambulance" came from. But again,
but it said in the story that as soon as they said that they have to leave under the right conditions, of course, if there's
active gunfire or something like that,
both companies were quick to be on board with that.
So that's a positive step in the right direction.
Correct.
Unfortunately, stemming from the tragic loss of this lady. All right, stay close. We have news on the way, an entertainment minute from Pete Schwaba. When we return, the good, the bad, and the tooth fairy left what? This is Matenaer On Air, coming to you across the Civic Media Radio Network.
Do what you wanna do. I can tell you who to sock it to. It's your thing, yeah. Do what you wanna do. Don't let me tell you who to sock it to. Let me hear you say it's my thing. I do what I wanna do.
Comedian Brian Hicks and Christy Barliman. It's Nightlight with Pete Schwaba from 7 to 9 p.m.
Civic Media News, I'm Terry Bell. Here's what Wisconsin needs to know. A bridge that connects southwest Wisconsin to Iowa could be closed for 2 months. Transportation officials shut down the Blackhawk Bridge over the Mississippi River Sunday after the span was found to be moving slightly. The bridge is almost 100 years old, and a replacement is being built nearby. For now, people will have to drive to Prairie du Chien or La Crosse to get across the river. Governor Evers is offering Republican state lawmakers a compromise on a plan to clean up PFAS pollution. Evers wants the Department of Natural Resources to have more authority to inspect water on private land. In exchange, Evers is asking the Joint Finance Committee to free up $125 million in grants for pollution cleanup in a bill that got final legislative approval last week. I'm Terry Bell, Civic Media News. Here's what you need to know closer to home.
For WAUK News, I'm Stuart J. Waddles. There's now a $15,000 reward for any information regarding the disappearance of the young boy from Manitowoc County. Elijah View's been missing since last Tuesday. His mother and her boyfriend are facing child neglect charges. Police say they haven't given any information about where he is. There's also not a lot of new information in the search for 16-year-old Isaiah Kramer. He's been missing from Waukesha County for over 3 weeks. Investigators have said they've followed up on leads from northern Illinois and from the Manitowoc area. Thoughts about summer are being encouraged by folks with the Waukesha County Fair. They've announced another headliner for the festival in July, with tickets for Daughtry going on sale tomorrow. The rock band, headed by Chris Daughtry, will play July 19th. Bret Michaels has already been announced as a headliner for July 20th. And that's what you need to know. I'm Stuart J. Waddles, WAUK News.
I joined the Carpenters Union 15 years ago as an apprentice, got free training, and have been able to advance. Now I'm a superintendent, running high-profile projects in Milwaukee that change the city skyline. I'm looking for skilled and experienced carpenters. If you want to join my team with great pay, better benefits, and a chance to advance, apply today. Call 262-970-5777 and press 0 to apply. That's 262-970-5777 and press 0.
I'm Pete with the 60-second Showbiz Beat. Movie star Leonardo DiCaprio had some words of wisdom for Timothée Chalamet a few years ago. His advice? No hard drugs and no superhero movies. Leo has never done a Marvel or DC film, and so far neither has Chalamet. But despite his mentor's advice, that could change. Chalamet told Variety that if the script was right and the director was right, he would have to consider it. When asked why, Chalamet explained that it was a superhero movie that made him want to act. Chalamet says when he was 12 years old, he begged his mother to take him to see Christopher Nolan's The Dark Knight. Chalamet says he left the theater a changed man. Or boy. No word yet on if the actor has changed his tune on hard drugs. Timothée Chalamet stars in Dune 2, which opens in theaters March 1st. For more showbiz fun, tune into Nightlight with me, Pete Schwaba, every night between 7 and 9 p.m. on the Civic Media Radio Network.
Your news, conversations, and a whole lot of fun. It's all on your local Civic Media radio station or the Civic Media app.
I'm meteorologist Brittany Merlot. What a weather 180 as we take a 50-degree temperature hit today. Highs tap the mid-20s. But with the wind still whipping up to 35 miles per hour, it's feeling closer to 0. Sunshine stays abundant the rest of the week and temperatures warming too. Right now, it's 12 degrees.
From the kennel to the coop, whatever the season, Fleet Farm has everything to keep your animals happy and healthy. From training your pup to sit season, to mastering those retrieval skills season. From clipping your horse for competition season, to keeping the backyard birds well-fed season. And of course, loving your pets like family season. There's a reason people say, if Fleet Farm doesn't have it, you don't need it. Because we have it all. Fleet Farm, built for real life.
Waukesha, home of Les Paul, our awesome farmers market, and The Shaw, 540 AM and 101.1 FM. WA.
Tomorrow at the museum.
Good morning. Welcome to Matenaer On Air. Jane Matenaer, Greg Bach, Calvin coming to you live from our studio in downtown Waukesha. Thank you so very much for joining us this morning, wherever you're listening across the Civic Media Radio Network, WRCE, in Richland Center News from the Center. We're going to get to the good, the bad, and the Tooth Fairy left what? In just a moment. We had a call. We were going to take that call. That call has disappeared. So we will begin the good, the bad, and the Tooth Fairy left what? The Milwaukee Public Museum's move has started.
Oh, boy.
That's good.
Holy cow.
Collection staff at the museum started packing stuff up. They're going to be eventually moving out of the current building to the new place at the northeast corner of 6th and McKinley.
Mm-hmm.
They have to pack, and this is just the first round, they have to pack 23,000 glass and ceramic items, vases, teapots, sugar dishes, creamers, you name it. And I've been fortunate enough to get into the museum, and I've gone into some of the storage places, and I've had the chance to go into the basement and see where some of these collections are. The fossil collection alone has got to be hundreds of thousands of items.
Yeah, but have you ever moved a bunch of books, though? Oh, my gosh, that's so heavy. I'm just kidding. I'm just making a joke.
Yes, books are heavy.
Yeah. That is, I mean, I believe they said what it would be 2026.
I think that's the target for when they're going to open.
I can't even imagine just when you start doing that, you look at the vastness of everything you've collected over decades.
Yes. Decades and decades.
I mean, when I move from an apartment to another apartment, I'm like, where do I start?
You know, and they're downsizing.
Yeah.
So the new facility is going to be
It's
smaller.
gonna be smaller. That's kind of a bummer.
But there is, and I did a couple of interviews in my last iteration with the president of the museum, and as we were walking around the building, there is a lot of wasted space in that building. There really is.
Oh, so smaller in space, not smaller in.
Well, it's going to have a smaller footprint.
Yeah.
But some of the offices they have are enormous.
Yeah.
I mean, executive suite kind of.
Oh, we should be there.
Well, but so they're going to be making those kinds of spaces much smaller. And they're also going to be making things more accessible to the public because this is a working museum. There are people who come to the museum who are writing papers and doing research papers and things like that. So you're going to be able to look in when they're going through fossils and looking through the fossil collections and stuff like that. There's all kinds of really cool stuff that they're planning for the new facility.
I can tell you, and I can tell you right now, we're working on reaching out to someone from the museum to give us a real good overview of the beginning, what they plan on, and all the things, and just, you know, what we can expect from the new MPM.
Very, very exciting and a major undertaking. It really is. And for anyone who doubts that they need a new facility, trust me, I've been in that basement. They have jury-rigged. There have been water issues there for decades.
Yeah.
That they've been just trying to manage.
Yeah.
Because it is such an undertaking to move a facility like this. And there's duct. I mean, I'm oversimplifying this, but there's duct tape all over that place.
And that duct tape comes from the Mesozoic area?
It is ancient duct tape.
It's ancient duct
I mean,
tape.
there's buckets underneath, some of these sewer lines.
They probably don't want you telling those secrets.
But this is why, for people who are kicking about, and they're raising the money.
No,
the vast majority themselves, they are getting some county and some state money, but we need this.
You know what? I'll tell you what, anybody who has a problem with that, anybody who is like all up in their britches about that, 855-75 Civic, call me. This is what society needs to do. We need to support the arts, our history, these things. We're giving money to baseball teams and basketball teams and any other person that has their hand out that says, oh, business is business. But we need to secure our history and culture as a city and our state by giving money to these groups so they can survive and we can learn about the past.
It's critically important.
Exactly.
It's critically important to look at the past. This is how we learn moving forward.
Yeah. If you look at the United States compared to other countries and how much they give to the arts and to historically, it is laughable.
We're way down on the list.
Laughable. So
way down on the list. All right. The good, the bad, and the Tooth Fairy left what? For the good, well, I'm sorry, this is the bad. The good was the Milwaukee Public Museum beginning their move. The bad, transportation officials have closed the Black Hawk Bridge that connects Wisconsin and Iowa over the Mississippi after confirmation that it had moved slightly.
Oh, God. I hate bridges.
That's never good to hear that the bridge moved slightly.
Oh.
It opened up in 1931. It links Lansing, Iowa to Wisconsin's Crawford County, and I didn't realize this. It's the only way to cross this Mississippi by vehicle between Prairie du Chien and La Crosse.
I think
that's 60 miles.
I think I crossed that bridge. I drove back from Nebraska, and I took a weird way, and it took me through I think I may have crossed that bridge, but I don't like bridges. I don't like they freak me out.
They're remarkable achievements.
And when they know they're safe and new or like refurbished, then I'm fine. But I don't know which ones are and which aren't. And then when they look rusty, I'm like, this could be the day.
The Iowa Department of Transportation say inspectors found there was movement in the two bridge piers, so they're going to stabilize those. This could take up to 2 months. So this is going to be a major headache for folks who live on one side of the river and work on the other side of the river. Because you're going to have now, again, it's 60 miles between Prairie du Chien and La Crosse. That is the only way to get across the river in your vehicle.
Yeah. Bosses are going to be like, well, get to driving.
Maybe some folks can work remotely.
And it said they're working on a new bridge now because there was some the way that bridge is placed, it's like along a curve, and there have been collisions with boats before coming through, and they want to get the bridge out of the way. So they're building a new one that's going to be up and running by 2027.
Oh, that's great.
Which to me, then I'm like, oh, shiny new bridge. I'm like literally like, I want to see this bridge when it's going to be like cool.
The current bridge
Yeah.
is called the Singing Bridge.
Why?
The metal grate flooring makes a humming sound as vehicles drive across it. But as you said, there's a real sharp bend in that river, and that has caused collisions in the past, along with the age of the bridge, the narrowness, and deteriorating structural conditions. Work started on that new $140 million bridge late last year, just north of the original structure. And as you said, that should be open in 2027.
Yeah.
I do think the whole architectural process and the whole building process is fascinating.
Absolutely.
And I hope someone, as they're building this new bridge, would do a time-lapse video of the construction.
Yeah.
Because it's impressive.
Oh, we got Dave from New Berlin with a joke. So I can't cross that bridge when I get to it. Darn.
Nice one, Dave.
Thanks, Dave. Quality joke.
Former Lansing Mayor Melissa Hamill telling the Journal-Sentinel residents are relieved the bridge isn't going to be shut for too long during construction because, of course, the effect it will have on the city's economy. Whenever the bridge has closed in the past, you noticed a big drop in town. So we don't want it to be shut down for the entire summer when we have their busiest times.
Absolutely.
Again, in 2 months. So hopefully in 2 months, this will be stabilized. And then relatively soon, the new bridge, well, a couple of years. New bridge will be open in a couple of years.
Yeah.
Moving on
to which is going to be.
I really want people to chime in on this because I'm so curious. 855-75-CIVIC is the number to call or text. 855-75-CIVIC. The good, the bad, and the Tooth Fairy left what?
This is a story that's right up the alley for the hackles of one Jane Matenaer.
Some children receive $100 bills and designer jewelry under their pillows as the Tooth Fairy has apparently come into money since I was a child.
She didn't say $100 bill, folks. She said $100 bills.
Bills.
With an S.
And designer jewelry.
Yeah.
The national average in the United States for a Tooth Fairy gift has risen from under $2 in 2001 to more than $6 in 2023. But the Wall Street Journal reported there are some parents making the rest of you look bad.
Yeah.
Who are going way over the top.
Absolutely.
One guy interviewed in this article said some children get cash, a video game, and an iPhone, which he attributes to parents competing with one another.
That's no good.
One mother from England gave her daughter $120, a letter, a silver fairy necklace, and a bracelet from Louis Vuitton. That was her first baby tooth she lost. The process was uncomfortable for her, so we decided to give her the extra Tooth Fairy experience.
I think Jane's going to punch her computer.
I don't understand.
Tony Zimmerman's live stream comment is perfect. He just says, what?
I know. How is it? Come on, people.
What did you get when you... Were teeth around back in those days?
No, we actually only had wooden teeth
when
I was growing up.
Right.
There were no actually... Of course we had teeth. I think I got a dime.
Yeah. But that dime went a long way.
It did.
Yeah.
You could buy like a 45 with a dime.
You could buy 10 penny candies.
What was your average when you were growing up?
Yeah.
What did the Tooth Fairy leave under your pillow? Or what have you left for your kids?
I think...
In the Tooth Fairy's stead, should any small people be listening?
Just by proxy, because the Tooth Fairy's busy and you're helping out. Oh, God.
Like a Tooth Fairy stand.
I know that when I was little... there was maybe like 50 cents, and then I think it was up to $1.
Really?
I think, and my mom could correct me if I'm wrong. I think I'm wrong, but I feel like the last baby tooth I lost, I got a $5 bill. Is almost to be like, it's your last one. I definitely didn't get jewelry or an iPhone or anything from Louis Vuitton.
Nothing from Louis Vuitton.
Nothing from Louis Vuitton.
How much did you get from the Tooth Fairy? How much did you assist the Tooth Fairy in leaving for your own children? 855-75 Civic. Calvin, as our resident young person, you are probably the most recent person to lose a tooth. So what did the Tooth Fairy leave for you?
See, my compensation from the Tooth Fairy was pretty similar to Greg's, even though I'm a little bit younger than he is.
Hey, be nice.
Yeah, so I think maybe the first couple teeth I lost, I got like $1 in quarters. And then after that, maybe like the last couple teeth, I might have gotten $5, but I'm not totally sure.
Yeah. Sherry from Horicon texted in saying, I always gave my kids silver dollars.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Andrew from Maine going dark. Jane's parents didn't pay out for teeth, given how easy it would be for the kids to find extra teeth laying around the funeral home.
Oh!
Good.
Andrew, they weren't actually just lying around the funeral home, just to clarify that. Kind of.
When they came in, Papa Matenaer would just punch him in the face.
That would be kind of a, I don't know, health code violation or something. I'm sure there are rules covering those sorts of things. Just curious, what did the Tooth Fairy leave for your children, and what did you receive from the Tooth Fairy when you lost a tooth? 855-75 Civic, because now parents are competing with each other, leaving $100 bills, designer jewelry, iPhones. I mean, aren't you 10? Don't you have all your permanent teeth by the time you're like 10 years old?
I don't remember. That was a long time ago. I don't remember. I mean, probably between 10 and 12, maybe.
12
depending.
Sounds old.
It sounds old, but who knows? Children are unique snowflakes. 262 texting in saying, we received a quarter for each tooth. I'm sure leaving lavish gifts is fun for the kid, but what is it teaching the kids? I mean, ultimately these kids are coming through. They're most likely not being told no a lot. They're the ones who are complaining on their 16th birthday that they got a Mercedes instead of the Maserati
or the Lexus that they wanted.
Exactly. So, honestly, it's the world that their parents are creating. It's for them to deal with.
Let's talk Tooth Fairy. What did you get? What did the Tooth Fairy give your children? 855-75 Civic. Stay close. You're listening to Matenaer On Air. This is the Civic Media Radio Network.
This is the Shaw, WAUK.
You need skill and a little luck to play the game of pool, and you could say one cue-making company in Wisconsin has both. Schmelke Cues in Rice Lake is the oldest pool cue maker in the U.S. and remains a family-owned, third-generation operated business. Schmelke started as a one-man shop in the 1940s. Now more than 20 employees work at the facility. So do you know which state has the most cue-making manufacturers? Is it Maryland, Minnesota, Wisconsin? The answer coming up. Pool is an old game, and the cues similar to the ones used to play today were created in the late 1600s in Northern Europe. Pool came to America in the 19th century. So did you guess which state currently has 4 of the top 5 cue manufacturers? It is Wisconsin. And Schmelke Cues in Rice Lake has also been inducted into the International Cue Makers Hall of Fame, making this a worldwide slice of Wisconsin. I'm Terry Barr for the Civic Media Radio Network.
The Shaw, WAUK, Waukesha's home for nightlight.
Tooth Fairy, take me home. Hello, baby, I'm your baby tooth. My friends and I will join you in your early youth.
Good morning and welcome to Matenaer On Air. Jane Matenaer, Greg Bach, the surgeon of sound, Calvin on the board, coming to you from our studio in downtown Waukesha. 855-75 Civic if you ever want to call or text or leave a comment on the live stream on Facebook, YouTube, or the platform that Elon ruined. We were playing The Good, the Bad, and the Tooth Fairy left what? article I found. Now, some parents have really upped the game, leaving $100 bill, $100 bills, plural, designer jewelry, things from Louis Vuitton.
Yeah.
Really, people? Really?
I mean, I'm looking at the live stream comments. Everybody is just like enraged or in shock.
I like PJ's comment. The Tooth Fairy's leaving $100. Now I'm going to go to the shed and get my rusty pliers.
All right,
seriously. It's just, that seems a little extreme to me.
A little extreme, yes. I mean, both the pliers and the prizes.
Yeah, that too.
I can't imagine giving giving a kid an iPhone, that's like $1,000, if not more.
At 10?
Yeah. Kids shouldn't have a cell phone at 10.
I would agree with you. 855-75-CIVIC. If you ever want to call and or text, you can always join us. I wanted to share this that just came up regarding our very own senior Senator Ron Johnson, Greg Bach.
Roger.
Ron Johnson this morning appearing on Fox News with Maria Bartiromo. She asked him to provide proof that President Biden benefited from his son Hunter Biden's business dealings overseas. She asked him to point to specific proof of wrongdoing from the president in order to justify removing him from office. Here is our senior senator's response. Quote, well, first of all, he's lied repeatedly. When do you lie repeatedly if you don't have something to cover up? President Biden is the Don of the Biden crime family.
Oh, my God.
Oftentimes, the Dons kind of sit above all the criminal activity that occurs, but they're totally responsible for it. Maria comes back, which shocks me, actually. What's going on over at Fox here? Actually asking journalistic type questions? What's wrong with you people? Quote from Maria, but the evidence that actually proves that is what I'm asking for. Where is the evidence that Joe Biden benefited from all of this? Senator Johnson, it depends on what documents investigators have. The Bidens haven't exactly been forthcoming in cooperating.
Wrong.
Let's not forget that this impeachment inquiry last month, their star witness, the smoking gun witness, the guy who was going to prove everything about the corruption and the payoffs, he got arrested.
For what?
Lying to investigators about these alleged multi-million-dollar bribes that President Biden allegedly got from this energy firm in Ukraine, Burisma.
And the Biden family would like to be forthcoming. Hunter, especially, he said he'd come and testify in open forum. He won't go behind closed doors. And they said no.
I think he might actually be going to Washington this week.
Great. I hope it's open. I hope it's...
They won't do it open because they want to be able to control the narrative.
Well, then they can shut their mouths because now at this point, they're getting what they want. They're getting Hunter Biden, and I'm sure they're going to spin whatever he says into whatever they want. And their smoking gun is arrested. I mean, I think Fox is doing this because they have no other choice at this. Like, they don't want to support Trump, I feel. I feel like they haven't been on board with him for a while. Specifically since this whole thing cost him nearly $1 billion.
Maybe not up until 5 p.m., but after 5 o'clock, it's all Trump.
Yeah.
I mean, Sean Hannity just had him on.
Well, it's Sean Hannity.
Lori Ingram just had him on.
Yeah.
And so that adoration has not gone away. But we talked about Brett Baer the other day.
Yeah.
Talking to Donald Trump and repeatedly pointing out you lost the election in 2020. So I do think that defamation lawsuit that cost them almost $1 billion has certainly impacted them, but not everybody.
No, I mean, I'm not. The news people have been the news people, and they've not always been the nicest to him. Even the morning show people have gotten on his case a couple of times, but Sean Hannity's never going to change. I mean, the man has him on speed dial. It's kind of disgusting.
It is kind of disgusting. And if there had been so many revelations, just a reminder again, going back to January 6th, then we later learned that Sean Hannity and Tucker Carlson and Laura Ingram were texting with people in the Trump administration as the riot was going on, telling them to get Trump to do something about this, to stop it.
Yeah.
If the situation were reversed and we had media figures like those three in touch with the Democratic administration.
If Rachel Maddow was texting the Obama administration.
My God, the hair burning would never stop.
But we don't have to worry because this wasn't what everyone thought it was. It was just, some people having fun, going on a tour, being respectful, and walking between the
ropes.
The ropes. So, I mean, it's once again, we go back to what we were talking about with Lauren Boebert. It's the hypocrisy.
It is.
And it'd be boring if it weren't so frightening for what's going to happen in November.
Joe, you on the live stream, Ron Johnson is just adhering to MAGA's second commandment: never, ever take an L.
Never.
Never, ever. You're right.
No.
Never apologize. Never admit you got it wrong. Never own it.
If someone,
then it's deflection.
If someone tries to criticize you in public, you just publicly eviscerate them and make them look like a fool. He's done that many times.
Yes. I just want people to keep in mind, and I know we have many months to go, but look at the records of our two senators.
Yeah.
And who has done and brought things back to Wisconsin that have actually helped Wisconsinites. And I don't think it's our senior senator.
No, I ask people to call in and tell us the great things he's done. And I'm not saying that to be a jerk. I want to know.
Let us know.
Do you know something we don't? What
remarkable
major monies or programs or opportunities has he brought to this state other than trying to spread conjecture, conspiracy theories?
All over, COVID. He's still all on COVID.
Yeah. That's why he ran for the third term. He said he had more work to do to disrupt the COVID mind virus.
Yeah, and I'm still waiting to become magnetic, but I'm not bitter about that.
Well,
stay with us. We have news on the way next. This is Matenaer On Air, coming to you across the Civic Media Radio Network.
Whether you're heading down Les Paul Parkway or fighting traffic on the interstates, this is The Shaw, 540 AM and 101.1 FM, WAUK.
Hey everybody, it's Todd Albaugh. Wednesday noon till 2 with the return of Pat Kreitlow, Trigby Olson, who will review the Michigan primary and more on the Civic Media Radio Network.
The Todd Albaugh Show.
Green Bay is a fine town, but I'm just telling you, you're better off to take a horse. Don't drive in Green Bay, and for God's sake, don't get a parking ticket. So how about this? We find out how much revenue does Green Bay get from parking tickets, and we say that the Packers are going to donate that, and we're going to have free parking in Green Bay. How about that? Todd for mayor of Green Bay.
The Todd Albaugh Show, weekdays noon till 2 on your local Civic Media radio station and on the app. You're listening to The Shaw, WAUK 540 AM Jackson, W266DR Waukesha, and always streaming on the Civic Media app.
CBS News brief. Supreme Court justices are hearing today about bump stocks, the devices that transform semi-automatic weapons into machine guns.
As long as the shooter maintains that steady forward pressure, the rifle will fire continuously until it runs out of bullets.
Deputy Solicitor General Brian Fletcher, a Texas gun shop owner, is challenging the federal ban on them. His attorney, Jonathan Mitchell.
You still have to have manual action by the shooter in response to every single shot that gets fired.
Wildfires causing damage now in the Texas Panhandle, parts of Oklahoma too. Ellis County Sheriff Shane Booth ordered some evacuations.
We're doing everything we can to try to protect them. We asked them to leave because it's a very dangerous situation, and it may not have looked that way to them, but it was.
CBS's Cammie McCormick reports President Biden is undergoing a physical exam today.
Results will be closely watched because this is an election year, and he's already the oldest president in U.S. history at 81.
CBS News Brief, I'm Steve Kathan.
Civic Media News, I'm Terry Bell. Here's what Wisconsin needs to know. The FBI is offering a $15,000 reward for information in the week-long search for a missing boy from Two Rivers. That's on top of the $1,000 reward the local Crime Stoppers chapter is offering. Elijah Vu has been missing since last Tuesday. His mother and her boyfriend are charged with child neglect and are not telling authorities where the 3-year-old might be. Wisconsin Attorney General Josh Kaul is asking the state Supreme Court to take a case that would likely decide if abortion is legal in Wisconsin. Kaul's petition asked the court to bypass the Court of Appeals and rule on how the state's law should be enforced. A Dane County judge ruled last year Wisconsin law bans feticide but not abortion. Sheboygan County District Attorney Joel Ermansky is also asking the Supreme Court to take the case. I'm Terry Bell, Civic Media News. Here's what you need to know closer to home.
For WAUK News, I'm Stuart J. Waddles. The protester who struck a Milwaukee police officer in the face over the war in Gaza now has their photo all over social media. The image was made public by MPD yesterday. It shows a woman in her 30s leaving a fundraiser Senator Tammy Baldwin was hosting. According to police, protesters broke in during that fundraiser, began yelling, and eventually one of them punched an officer. Last year, a studio theater in Milwaukee was dedicated to its donors, and now the same donors are contributing to the creation of a parade memorial in Waukesha. City officials in Waukesha have announced that a $75,000 donation from David Hero and Jay Frank has brought the Christmas parade memorial at Greedy Park much closer to realization. With the recent donation, the parade memorial is $75,000 away from reaching its fundraising target. And that's what you need to know. I'm Stuart J. Waddles, WAUK News.
Nightlight with Pete Schwaba.
Civic Media's Rich Locascio. Could you introduce me as a wrestler right now? You could call me like the punching bag or the patsy or something.
From Green Bay, Wisconsin, the punching bag, Pete Schwaba.
Now I'd be looking across the ring at my opponent's eyes getting really wide as he got ready to wail on me.
Nightlight with Pete Schwaba. Weeknights 7 till 9 on your local Civic Media radio station and on the Civic Media app.
It's the Bucks and the Hornets tonight. Hi, I'm Mike Clemens with sports. The Bucks are back home, and what Giannis says seems like forever, taking on the Charlotte Hornets.
Going home now. I feel like we've been on the road for so long. Play against Charlotte. They're a tough team, young team, play fast, very, scrappy, crafty players. Dangerous team. We have to, respect them and play good basketball. Play hard like we did. Hopefully we can get a win.
Bucks forward Bobby Portis.
The second half of the season, it's a sprint right now. 24 games left, and you had 26 after the break. Every game starts to matter.
College hoops, the Wisconsin Badgers in Indiana to take on the Hoosiers. NFL, the Packers at the NFL Combine. GM Brian Gutekunst says he thought Green Bay was on their way to beating the 49ers and on to the NFC Championship.
Yeah, we were 5 minutes to go in that game. I think we were squarely thinking that's where we were headed.
That's Brian Gutekunst with sports. I'm Mike Clemens.
I'm meteorologist Brittany Merlot. What a weather 180 as we take a 50-degree temperature hit today. Highs tap the mid-20s. But with the wind still whipping up to 35 miles per hour, it's feeling closer to zero. Sunshine stays abundant the rest of the week, and temperatures warming too. It's 13 degrees at our studios.
RPG came through the belly of the aircraft. We don't talk about the female combat wounded. These are our daughters and our sisters and our mothers. Wounded Warrior Project came into my life and taught me how to stand back up and get back in the fight. The truth is, I think we all have this strength inside of us, but until you're tested, you just don't know what's there.
See how Wounded Warrior Project empowers women veterans like Beth by visiting woundedwarriorproject.org/empowerwomenvets.
The Maggie Dawn Show.
Wednesday, I've got Reggie Jackson on to discuss the school-to-prison pipeline.
Weekday afternoons from 2 until 4. Broadcasting to Waukesha at 101.1 FM. Broadcasting to Southeast Wisconsin.
Good Good morning. Welcome. Words are hard. Matenaer On Air. Jane Matenaer, Greg Bach, Calvin coming to you live from our studio in downtown Waukesha. Feel free to call or text at 855-75-CIVIC or leave a comment on the live stream if you're watching on Facebook, YouTube, or former Twitter. Coming up at the bottom of the hour, we're going to have a guest with us in studio, Rich Barnhouse. We've had the chance to talk to before. He's the president of WCTC, and we're going to be talking about AI technology and the really important part that WCTC is playing in this and why it is important for Wisconsin and really just technology going forward. So excited to be talking to him coming up at 11:33, at 11:50, as she does now every Wednesday. It's Wednesday Weather and Wine with our Civic Media meteorologist, Brittany Merlot, going to talk about the end of fake spring in Wisconsin.
Fake spring,
and what is going to be coming next and see where things are heading. So Brittany will be joining us coming up at 11:50. Right now, though, we're going to talk about consumer hacks.
Yes.
Inflation is a big discussion, even though, again, the U.S. inflation rate right now, according to a chart that I found from Trading Economics, United States inflation rate right now is 3.1%. Better than many other countries. Brazil, 4.51%. Australia, 4%. Argentina has an inflation rate of 254%.
I mean,
we'll see how it goes with their new president and how that all shakes out. But I found this article about people trying to get around paying higher prices.
Yeah.
I personally feel that one of the reasons why prices have stayed so high is corporate greed. They do it because they can.
Yes.
Prices haven't come down because we keep buying it.
Yes.
So people who are fed up with prices that are still about 19% above average before the pandemic, in grocery stores, more and more folks are shifting away from name brands to either generic or the store brand items, going to discount stores, or just buying fewer items like snacks or fancy gourmet foods.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what is your consumer hack? How are you dealing with the high prices? Are we going back to coupon clipping? Can you still find coupons? Do people still coupon?
Oh, they've made TV shows off of it. People like extreme couponing.
I didn't know that was. I knew that was a thing a few years ago. I didn't realize that was still a thing.
I'm sure they're still doing it, but nowadays, all you need is their rewards card, and it will automatically give you all the deals. So that way you don't have to present coupons.
True.
But I mean, I don't disagree. I mean, there's a lot of products where I buy the store version of it because it's cheaper and it's just as good. And a lot of times those are being made by either the same company or a company just the higher of high quality. If you look at Costco, their Kirkland brands are all being made by not all, I shouldn't say all. A lot of Kirkland brand clothing, liquor, items are being made by top shelf companies, and they're cheaper and they're just as quality. So yeah, I mean, I'm gonna buy soup that's whatever. That's a half a buck cheaper.
Essentials.
Exactly.
Yeah. Instead of Lipton or Campbell's.
Yeah. I mean, it's it just makes sense. I don't know anyone who needs to have like I must eat Kraft macaroni and cheese.
Are we still brand loyal?
I'm not.
Would you buy a knockoff ketchup?
I have one in my kitchen right now.
What is it?
It's like Roundy's.
Ketchup is ketchup.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I am not someone who demands and who has such a high palate, and I do not demand the finest food. So if that food is wrapped in a Roundy's container or whatever the fish would be, but like, I don't care. It's probably going to eat the same to me.
855-75-CIVIC, 855-75-CIVIC, talking about consumer hacks and how you were getting around or dealing with the higher prices at the grocery store. Calvin, what about you? You don't look like a coupon clipper to me.
No, I'm brand loyal to certain things. Like, it depends.
Like
I don't like generic soda tastes generic to me. Like,
so what's your brand? What brand are you loyal to?
Well, I really like Squirt. That's kind of the one soda.
You drink a lot of Squirt.
I drink a lot of Squirt. Yeah,
Wait.
I can't tell you why. My dad, my whole life has drank Mountain Dew exclusively, and I don't know. I guess I kind of decided that Squirt was my Mountain Dew.
That's your thing.
Yeah.
What is the knockoff of Squirt?
I don't know. You don't see a lot
It's
of
like 50-50 or
Well, it's just a lemon lime.
squat.
Tony on the live stream says, or I'm sorry, Andrew in Maine says, I am loyal to my family. Brands have not earned my loyalty.
There you go. Jack from Merrimack texted in saying Business Insider and the Wall Street Journal, roughly 2/3 of the so-called quote unquote inflation is caused by corporate greed, corporations increasing prices because they can, and then blaming quote unquote inflation.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, Tony Zimmerman said Quick Trip has a lot of deals. I know that. I have a Quick Trip card. Okay, you know what? I'm brand loyal to Quick Trip.
Tony
they have
says,
amazing food.
Tony says Quick Trip has a lot of deals in their app. I still prefer the Civic Media app. Oh, Quick Trip doesn't have Greg and Jane. Look at that.
Oh my gosh, but they can if they want for a price. Free sandwiches.
Joe, Squirt is grapefruit, not lemon lime, Jane.
Excuse me, Joe. No need for the exclamation point.
That's fine.
Stow the tude. Dave from Waukesha says, we're not poor by any means, but we're also not rich whatsoever. We deal with higher prices by shopping at different groceries for different products. Aldi for produce, which is, and actually I would say Cermak for produce too.
Oh, yeah.
Very, very affordable, very good. Aldi for produce and some knockoff stuff. Bulk at Woodman's, sales on meats either at Meijer or Pick and Save. And then Lynn says Lynn loves Squirt or any grapefruit soda.
Good to know.
Yeah. I mean, it's where you can find the deals, and it's really not different from any time. Like, people have always been searching for deals. People always have.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you got the place where you get your meats, you got the place where you get your fruits. But yeah, brands like that, I think Andrew said it best. They don't have your loyalty. They shouldn't have your loyalty. And people were like, I was like, I can only eat Barilla pasta. You can eat cremate. You're fine. You're fine.
Would you really be able to tell the difference in pasta?
No.
If it's absolutely fresh pasta.
Oh gosh, yes. Absolutely.
That's gonna make a difference. But a packaged pasta? According to this article, in recent months, consumer resistance to higher prices has actually led large food companies to sharply slow the price increases.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that doesn't mean that grocery prices are going to go back down to what they were 2 or 3 years ago.
No, the prices are never going down.
Not all the way down, because they
No.
never do.
No.
Some items, including eggs, apples, and milk, prices are actually below their peak. But the milder increases in food prices should help further cool overall inflation. Down from a peak, and we need this reminder too, the peak of inflation was 9.1% in 2022.
Do you remember when they used eggs as the target? Like the price of eggs.
Oh, yeah.
And people were like, that is how people got angry. They're like, the price of eggs. I'm like, I personally don't. If I need eggs, I buy eggs. Like, if they're too expensive, if they're $50 a dozen, I'm not buying them. But
certainly for people who have families,
and
children, it's been very, very challenging.
And let's not forget too, so in an article it says that it was 19% above a normal rate of a rising rate. And I asked you the question, and if anyone here is an economics professor or into economics who can answer this, I want to know between the beginning of COVID or 4 years ago to now, how much of that 19% is normal price increase and that growth that we see every year, that toothpaste, it gets more expensive, or, dishwashing detergent gets more expensive, versus what's left over, which is 100% corporations taking it out on us, knowing full well that we are going to shake our fists at Washington versus their warehouses.
Company.
Exactly.
Yes, that's a really, really good point. When high inflation persists, consumers often develop an inflationary psychology. Ever-rising prices lead people to accelerate their purchases before costs go even higher, and that can help perpetuate inflation.
I mean, if that's the case, what did the run on grocery stores at the beginning of the pandemic do when you couldn't buy toilet paper?
I mean, wipes, any kind of bacterial wipes, all of that stuff was just empty. A spokesman for Kraft Heinz, Alex Abraham, says its cost rose 3% in the last 3 months of last year. The company raised its own prices only 1%. We're doing everything possible to find efficiencies in our factories to offset and mitigate further price increases. I don't know, maybe your CEO could take a smaller bonus. I know it's radical.
Jane, you fool.
I know, I'm such a communist, but maybe just instead of $12 million, couldn't you take 10?
I mean, heck,
if you budget.
I'd say this. You get my brand loyalty if the CEO said, I'm going to cut my pay by $2 million, and I'm not going to lower the prices to the consumer. I'm going to spread that amongst my employees. I'd be like, oh, okay. I like that. There you go. I'll buy your pasta sauce. I'm hungry, by the way.
Well, now that we're talking about food, yes.
Yeah. I mean, but let's not forget, we've talked about it before, and I feel like I'm kicking a broken record. That is the economy, though not maybe great for you personally, by the numbers, is going very, very well.
And going in the right direction.
The inflation has come down. We resisted and dodged a recession. And I know Biden non-fans don't want to hear this, but it is the case. This happened during this administration, and the proof is there, and there is nothing you can do to change those facts, because why? The facts don't care about your feelings.
No, they don't. 855-75-CIVIC if you ever want to call and or text. What are your consumer hacks? Are you buying cheaper brands? Are you buying off name brands? I am not particularly brand loyal. That doesn't really sway how I buy things. I've never been a label shopper. That stuff has never meant anything to me.
No, neither have I. I mean, like, it's nice if you get something fancy, like especially when you lose a tooth. I only expect Louis Vuitton.
Always. Stay with us. You're listening to Matenaer On Air. We're coming to you across the vast Civic Media Radio Network.
You're listening to The Shaw, WAUK.
The IRS finally caught up with Louis.
I hadn't paid my taxes in 8 years. I owe the IRS a lot of money.
Louis was in deep trouble.
We're going to take your house, put a lien on your bank account, garnish your pay. They don't care. They're going to take your paycheck.
Louis found out about Optima Tax Relief, the leading tax resolution firm. A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, they've resolved over $1 billion for their clients.
Optima Tax, they help me. They calm me down. They make me feel comfortable, and I trust them.
Louis has a lot to be thankful for.
I don't owe the IRS anymore, and I'm able to live a comfortable life, a lot better life. It was because of Optima Tax.
For tax help you can trust, call Optima now for a free consultation. Take it from Louis.
If you owe the IRS, don't go it alone. Give Optima Tax a call. They can help you.
Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief.
Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
You're listening to The Shaw,
Good morning. Welcome to Matenaer On Air. Jane Matenaer, Greg Bach, Calvin, coming to you live from our studio in downtown Waukesha. Thank you for joining us. If you're listening on WLAK Lake Air in Amory, Wisconsin, you can always join us at 855-75-CIVIC.
If you're in Amory.
You can always call and or text. Leave a comment on the live stream if you're watching on Facebook, YouTube, and or Twitter. Coming up in just a few minutes at 11:33, we're very excited. We're going to be joined in studio by Rich Barnhouse. He's the president of WCTC, and we're going to be talking about AI technology and how WCTC is really taking the forefront here in Wisconsin as far as AI technology goes, and what does that mean, and why is that good? And he will explain all of that Coming up at 11:33, then Civic Media meteorologist Brittany Merlot joining us at 11:50. Talk about the incredible summer day we had yesterday, and then the Arctic blast that we are enduring now. It's so windy.
It looks so nice outside. What is it right now? It's holy cow! It's 19 degrees.
Oh boy, not bad.
Holy crap! It's 17 degrees.
17 degrees. Just bundle up. Make sure you bundle up your pets and stay safe today. I'm very excited about this. I'm an old person, and I really, really want to go to this show.
Yeah, I would.
Pink is coming back to Milwaukee. She's going to do a show October 23rd at Fiserv Forum, the Pink Live 2024 tour in Milwaukee, along with The Script and Kid Cut Up, with whom I am not familiar. Okay, school me, boys.
I don't know either of those.
You don't know the script.
I just like the fact you started with "I'm old. I want to see Pink." I don't know who these people are.
Well, if you know who The Script or Kid Cut Up are,
yeah,
I clue us in 855-75 Civic.
The people who know aren't listening. They're listening to the Civic Media Radio app.
They can call or text directly from the Civic Media app.
Exactly. They
if you want to chime in on this.
State-of-the-art people.
I have heard from people who have seen Pink in concert.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize this until I watched that 60 Minutes interview with her, that she was a gymnast.
Yes.
And so she puts on this whole Cirque du Soleil show while she is singing. And she's way above the stage doing all of these acrobatics and high wire things. She's astonishing.
Singing full-throatedly while spinning around.
Upside down.
And I watched that same interview on 60 Minutes. She had someone standing on her stomach while she projected.
Oh.
So she can work her core while she's singing, spinning around. And she brings it's a Cirque du Soleil like Las Vegas act to each city. It is mind-blowing what she does. I want to see it live as well. But what I've seen on television, it's absolutely amazing. And she's so talented, so down to earth.
Yes.
Encouraging the way she speaks about female empowerment and just empowerment in general, whether you're talking about the queer community, whether you're talking about just if you're in a bad place. She's just amazing.
She is. And truly an inspiration, I think, for a lot of people, and certainly a lot of young women.
Absolutely.
And even when she first got into music, she was not what they wanted her to be.
No.
They wanted to make her the pretty girl, right? You know, if they could have made her into a rock and roll Taylor Swift, that's probably what they would have done.
I mean, I think they wanted her to be like a Britney Spears, because at the time there was the Britney Spears, Christina. It was all that, like she was part of a group, then that group didn't work out. Then they did a solo thing and they were trying to push her as a little more like a little rough around the edges.
Right.
But she is, and I don't want to say she's super rough around the edges, but she just does things her own way.
And she's extraordinarily talented.
Exactly. And
she writes her own music. She writes her own lyrics. You know, I have so much admiration for people like that.
We should see if we can get Pink on the show. How cool would that be?
I would fangirl all over myself.
That'd be amazing.
I would embarrass myself.
Yeah, I think that would be absolutely wonderful to watch.
Tickets go on sale this Friday, 10 a.m. on livenation.com. I haven't looked yet to see what the ticket prices are because it'll probably make me cry.
I mean, they're probably going to sell out too.
Pretty quickly.
Yeah, I mean, that is going to be an amazing show to witness.
Pink Live 2024 tour coming to Milwaukee October 23rd with The Script and Kid Cut Up, my favorite. Tickets go.
I love it. I love that person band thing.
They're so good. He is. And his sister,
with that single, with the song, and they sing
that song
about love
that song
or breaking up.
That's a good song.
That song of theirs. It's quality tune.
It's quality. Tickets again going on sale if you want to see Pink when she comes to town in October. Sale starts Friday morning, 10 a.m. on livenation.com. So go check that out and go get those tickets. And I think I'm going to try and go, but then I'm going to have to take the next day off.
That's fine.
Because it's going to be way past my bedtime.
Report back.
I could do a call.
I could see Pink doing a tour where she did shows like 3:00 in the afternoon
for the seniors,
for everybody. And I just looked it up. She actually, yes, she was here last year at AmFam Field in August.
Yeah, she was here
Like,
not too long ago.
And she's coming back this year. I mean, absolutely amazing. We got let's see here. Andrew from Maine sent a text about Pink. Funniest story about Pink. A young lady at my work had tickets for a Pink concert. The day before the concert, she and I hung out. Might call it our first date. Ooh. Next day, she drives down to Boston for the concert, only to be told that she was a day late. I joke that she, who is now my wife, chose me over Pink, even if she didn't realize
that's really sweet.
Did you then, Andrew, take her to a Pink concert after that to make up for it? I mean, really, the ball's in your court, Andrew.
Joe Yu says the Script is a country band that exclusively plays Partridge Family covers.
I think you're kidding.
I think so too. Kid Cut Up is a magic act that involves sawing toddlers in half. Okay, thanks, Joe.
Joe, you got us again.
All right. News is next, followed by an entertainment minute with the one and only Pete Schwaba. He does a great show from 7 to 9 p.m. across the Civic Media Network.
Have you been on it?
I have.
Awesome.
Yeah, I was on a couple of weeks ago when he first got started, but he knows a lot of people in entertainment. He has a lot of great entertainment stories. He lived in Los Angeles and he wrote scripts and very, very accomplished man. So
he's in the band Script?
I believe so. We'll find out. When we come back, we're going to be talking about artificial intelligence at WCTC. Looking forward to this discussion. Stay close. You're listening to Matenaer On Air. We're coming to you across the Civic Media Radio Network. I'm coming up, so you better get this party started. Get this party started. Making my connection as I enter the room. Everybody's chilling as I set up the groove. Pumping up the volume with this brand new beat. Everybody's dancing and they're dancing for me. I'm your operator, you can call anytime. I'll be your connection to the party line. I'm coming up, so you better get this party started. I'm coming up, I'm coming up, so you better get this party started. I'm coming up, I'm coming up, so you better get this party started. I'm coming up, so you better. I'm coming up, so you better get this party started. Get this party started.
This is your hometown radio, refreshed, keeping you informed, entertained, and connected locally across the Civic Media Network.
Civic Media News, I'm Terry Bell. Here's what Wisconsin needs to know. Governor Evers is offering Republican state lawmakers a compromise on a plan to clean up PFAS pollution. Evers wants the Department of Natural Resources to have more authority to inspect water on private land. In exchange, Evers is asking the Budget Writing Joint Finance Committee to free up $125 million for grants to clean up pollution in a bill that got final legislative approval last week. Wisconsin is coming off another day of record high temperatures for this time of year. Yesterday's highs rose into the 70s as far north as Wausau. Our current stretch of warm weather ensures most northern U.S. cities will end up with one of the warmest winter seasons on record. Meteorological winter is December, January, and February. Meteorologists blame the El Nino weather pattern and climate change. I'm Terry Bell, Civic Media News. Now here's what you need to know closer to home.
For WAUK News, I'm Stuart J. Waddles. 12% of the rescue calls in Cedarburg are for helping people get off the couch or out of bed. Because officials don't think that's a good use of resources, Cedarburg firefighters will now charge for assisting people simply needing a lift. The head of the city's fire department says unless there is another type of medical emergency, they'll charge folks after the third call to come for lift assistance. Foster families for pets are being sought in Waukesha. Warmer weather means more strays, and along with a transport of dogs from the south, Waukesha's Humane Animal Welfare Society is looking for help. Haws will help set you up for fostering, and there is a pathway to adoption. There's more info about how to help on the Waukesha Haws website. AAA has gas in Milwaukee and Waukesha counties up 40 cents over the past month. Today's average is at $3.12. And that's what you need to know. I'm Stuart J. Waddles, WAUK News.
Hey, son, how are you feeling?
I'm fine, Pops.
What's on your mind?
I can't explain it. Navigating without a compass, eyes waiting, started to wonder. Metamorphosis, the loss of who you thought you was.
When your kid can't find the language, help them find the lyrics. Listen to the Sound It Out album and get tips and tools to start a conversation at sounditouttogether.org. Brought to you by Ad Council and Pivotal Ventures.
I'm Pete with the 60-second Showbiz Beat. After being asked if acting with his daughters is a good way to spend time with them, Adam Sandler says they still don't talk to him. The actor told Yahoo Entertainment at the premiere of his new film Spaceman that even though they've been in multiple films together, the girls sometimes don't even respond when he tries to talk to them on the set, attributing their behavior to their age, and not that they might have watched him in the film Jack and Jill. Kids are cute. Sony has decided to move up the release of Bad Boys 4 to June 7th. Collider.com reports that the move will pit the film against two other action films, The Crow and The Watcher, which will be released on the same date. Will Smith and Martin Lawrence are back again playing crime fighters Mike and Marcus. The film's action sequences are said to be impressive, but will probably not look as real as Will Smith's real-life award show action scenes. For more showbiz fun, tune into Nightlight with me, Pete Schwaba, every night between 7 and 9 p.m. on the Civic Media Radio Network.
I'm meteorologist Brittany Merlot. What a weather 180 as we take a 50-degree temperature hit today. Highs tap the mid-20s. But with the wind still whipping up to 35 miles per hour, it's feeling closer to zero. Sunshine stays abundant the rest of the week, and temperatures warming too. It's 13 degrees at our studios.
Do you owe back taxes? Call Tax Solutions now and get some help. For a limited time, the IRS offers a tax forgiveness program called the Fresh Start Initiative. Our team can make it easier for you to pay back taxes, avoid tax liens, and get a fresh start.
I call Tax Solutions now, and they got the IRS off my back.
Call Tax Solutions now. 800-281-8193. 800-281-8193. 800-281-8193.
Your home for the Devil's Advocates. Weekday afternoons from 4 until 6 on The Shaw.
You're wondering who I am.
Secret, secret, I've got a secret.
Machine or mannequin.
Good morning. Welcome to Matenaer On Air. Jane Matenaer, Greg Bach, Calvin coming to you live from our studio in downtown Waukesha. You can always join us, call or text at 855-75-CIVIC or leave a comment on the live stream on Facebook, YouTube, and what used to be Twitter. Very excited to have our guest in studio with us. Some big things coming to WCTC. Rich Barnhouse is the president of WCTC. Thank you so much for coming in, Rich. Nice to see you. It's been a few months.
It has. Nice to be here. It's great to see y'all. I appreciate the opportunity with you today.
Well, let's talk AI.
Sure.
And WCTC's place in the expansion of AI programs in Wisconsin. So you're opening a new center, correct?
We are, yeah. And it really started academically. And so we were one of the first in the state to offer AI overall, just generally speaking, in the past year. And as we're developing our academic programs, for graduates and getting people out into the workforce with AI, it became really apparent that we needed to take it a step further and to do something we realized that nobody else was doing. And that is opening up really the first of its kind in the country. We can't find something similar to what we're doing.
There's no model to base it off
There
of.
aren't. So what we're doing is we are taking AI and we're, as I've said in a few settings, we're putting the tire tread on artificial intelligence. So there are lots of Research One institutions across the country, Cal Berkeley, the Research Triangle, et cetera, that are doing phenomenal things in artificial intelligence, but they're not yet applicable to, say, businesses in Southeast Wisconsin or in Waukesha. And so what we're doing is we're building the first of its kind applied AI lab, where we're going to work with businesses to help them spin up new ideas, help them figure out what type of AI they need, and what makes the best use case for them. And in addition to that, in this lab space that we're starting construction on in May, we're also going to bring in entrepreneurs. So the next Steve Jobs is probably an AI person.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Working in the garage.
Yeah.
There's a lot of genius right here in the greater Milwaukee area, in Waukesha, Southeast Wisconsin. So we're going to work with those folks too, bring them onto campus. We're going to surround them with unbelievable faculty, as well as their students, grad students from some of the local universities as well. And we're also going to have partnerships with patent attorneys that specialize in artificial intelligence,
great.
as well as venture capitalists, lenders through banks, all of those types of things, so that an entrepreneur can come in with a phenomenal idea for a company or a product in artificial intelligence, spin it up and build it on the campus, and then have these services around it to take off. And so in addition to that, we will also, in addition to educating businesses about how they can use AI, also working with a number of global businesses that reside in the greater Milwaukee area, Southeast Wisconsin, helping them develop new products for their current line or products that will help them internally. And so there's a variety of things that we'll be doing in the lab, and we can't find anything like it anywhere else. So we're, making it up as we go along.
That's really exciting, though.
Yeah.
And what a wonderful opportunity to kind of build this program from the ground up and taking best practice,
Yeah.
from what you can find
Right.
For best practices and put that all together. If you're just joining us, Rich Barnhouse is our guest. He is the president of the Waukesha County Technical College, and we're talking about the new AI lab that's going to be opening up later in fall here in Wisconsin. Okay, Rich, I want you to hold my hand a little bit now.
happy to do so.
And because I am a worst case scenario person, and when I hear AI, I think of robots are coming for us. So tell me all the good things and all the good ways that AI can be applied.
Well, first of all, I want to say I'm a big Terminator fan. So I just get that out there.
So Rich is on board with the robots.
Very true.
They're going to build Terminators.
If it means I get to stay alive, I will serve them. I don't care.
Yeah, right. Well, a couple things about that. I think there is reasonable consideration of, to be concerned about some of the things that could come out of AI.
Right.
There's no doubt about it. Right. There are a lot of bad things that happen with the web as well, but we can't really live without it. AI, there are some of the same things with AI, which is you can make it do bad things. And we can count on, I think, with certainty that there will be bad actors across the planet that do bad things with artificial intelligence.
Sure.
I will say the robots aren't coming yet, but what I say we get the question a lot, right? Like, should we even be dabbling in this thing? Because it's unbelievable. The answer is yes, because the bad guys right now are working with AI.
Anyway,
so China, Iran, North Korea, Russia, they are moving forward really quickly. And I think it's our responsibility to continue to lead in this country, the rest of the world. And so as the good guys, we need to be developing AI to do great things for our economy and industries, but also to help the rest of the world manage some of the bad things that are going to come out.
Well, to counter some of these bad actors, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I don't think it's, I'm sort of in the same camp as Jane. Is like, my knowledge of AI is very little, and I try not to focus on the negative, because there can be negative with everything.
Sure.
Yeah.
But we can't just walk away from it.
Right.
Because it's here. It's really going to be here to stay. It's only going to improve and advance. So we might as well put the young minds in there and have them doing good things with it. When did you, like, when we saw the article, it just, popped up on our radar. We're like, oh, okay, WCTC's is kicking butt.
Yeah.
What is the history of AI at the school, though? Was it one day just someone said, we need to start teaching this? Or did you have this vision of not only are we going to just have a class and maybe an intro, we have a plan?
Yeah. It was kind of accidentally and kind of intentionally. So the intentionality of it was when I moved into this role as president a little over 3 years ago, I knew at some point we'd be having this conversation.
Sure.
I didn't think it would happen this quickly.
Yeah.
The accidental part is the first year, 18 months in the job, I probably visited 60, 70, maybe 80 different businesses, industries throughout all of Southeast Wisconsin. And whether they were saying, and this was 3 years ago, whether they were saying, we know what AI is and we need you guys to do it, or they were describing what they needed and what they were describing was artificial intelligence, that happened in almost every place I went.
How interesting.
Right? Whether it was simple, traditional, I shouldn't say simple, perhaps traditional manufacturing, or somebody who's running an accounting firm, or across the board, whether they knew it or not, they were asking for AI. And so then I came back to the college, got with the team and said, we need to start putting this together because this is what the businesses and the industry that we're responsible to serve are demanding, and we got to have the grads ready to go. And that's really where it started.
This just seems like it's a very positive thing, and I obviously higher education has always been about preparing people for the future, but I think this is so much more focused now in providing the skills and the tools needed to instantaneously go into the working world and start applying these things. It's just it's very practical.
It is. And I see a day where, and I don't mean in the future, but like in the next couple of years, it's likely that every single program we offer has an AI course element embedded in it in some way, shape, or form.
I mean, nowadays, if you have a small business, you have to know the internet. You have to have a website. You have to be, there's just things that are ubiquitous now that you have to be somewhat familiar with. Or like if I own a company and you are AI expert, hire you to do that for me.
Right.
It just becomes part of the fabric of our businesses here. So I am an MATC grad. I'm going to take this moment to, I always like whenever we have someone, excuse me, from trades or vocation or tech schools, talk about the beauty of tech schools and the fact that, we live in a very 4-year college mindset.
Yeah.
And what we're seeing now more and more is that, those are great. I have a 4-year degree as well, but that might not be your road. That might not be down the path. Talk about like the uniqueness of Waukesha County Technical College and its important contributions.
Sure. Yeah. Thanks for the question. Things have shifted so quickly. And when I was, coming out of high school 30 years ago as well, it was just 4 year. So I didn't really think about anything else. But what business industry are asking for now are a very specific set of skills in any industry, right? They're looking for something very, very specific. And so we're responsible in the tech college system across the state to provide the best educated workforce, best trained workforce in the world, right? That's where we set the bar, is the best trained workforce in the world. And, we've got great and wonderful 4-year partners. I spent most of my life in higher education,
right?
But what the tech college system is doing now is really matching almost one for one what a business needs, what an industry needs, and making sure that our grads, when they come out, are ready to go right away. And that really props up the entire economy of Wisconsin. And we're really the only system like this, because we also do the liberal arts, right, all the way through business, culinary, all of the health programs, all the way to diesel tech, right?
Oh, cool.
So there really isn't a part of the industry or the economy that we don't touch. And so we're getting more and more students coming directly out of high school. So when I started a little over 3 years ago, the average age at WCTC was about 27.
Oh, coming to it late then.
Right now it's down to about 23.
Yeah.
So the age of the student coming in has really gotten lower. Students are coming directly out of high school because they can see a path to a long-term career. And the other thing about manufacturing and industrial application is that it is so different. You're working with, no matter what you're doing, you're working with computers, you're working with very highly technical machines,
Yes.
and it's a very, very different environment. So, when you think about it, the easiest way to explain this is auto tech, right? You would think you'd walk down into an auto tech lab and you would see simply cars and people working with wrenches, and that's what you would expect to see.
Right.
If you walk down at WCTC's campus in our auto lab, you are going to see cars hooked up to giant 50-inch screens, and the students are looking at the algorithms coming out of the cars, and they're diagnosing and fixing computers. And so about 20% of our grads out of auto tech never touch a car again because they get picked up by software companies,
Interesting.
by other industries that need people who understand practical application, can work with computers, understand artificial intelligence and automation. And so our auto tech grads are they're highly sought after because they've got this unique skill set.
We just have about a minute left. Rich, where can people find out more? If they have a son, a daughter, a cousin, somebody, where can they find out more about these programs?
Yeah. So I hate to sound like everybody else, but the best thing to do is go to our website, wctc.edu. That will list everything about artificial intelligence and the over 100 programs we have across the board. And so there really isn't a field that you can't start with us. So if you're interested, check us out and we'll give you the best education you'll ever have.
Rich Barnhouse is the president of the Waukesha County Technical College. Thank you so very much for coming in, Rich.
Thank you, sir.
And hopefully the next time you're here, we will talk about the female Terminator that we have built at WCTC.
Or the great time you had at the Pink concert.
That too.
Yeah. Well, you can let me know if she's a hologram or if she's real. Right?
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Rich. Stay with us. We're talking weather with Civic Media meteorologist Brittany Merlot when we return. This is Matenaer On Air, coming to you across the Civic Media Radio Network.
The problem's plain to see. Too much technology. Machines to save our lives. Machines dehumanize. The time has come at last. Secret, I've got a secret. To throw away this last. Secret, I've got a secret. Now everyone can see. Secret, I've got a secret. My true identity. I'm Kilroy. Kilroy. Kilroy.
The Shaw, WAUK.
This is Chuck Smith, founder of Current Electric. I want to thank you, Southeast Wisconsin, for making us #1 electrical service company in our area. From residential and commercial to all things solar. Do you know the #1 reason people call Current Electric? It is trust. We answer the call. They trust our heroes in their home and businesses. With 8,500 5-star reviews and growing, I'm so very proud of our team of heroes. Go to callcurrent.com. That's callcurrent.com. Home of the superheroes.
Hi, I'm Emily from Weikert Realtors Lake Point in Madison. Home ownership is a big deal, and so is taking the leap into the buying or selling of any property. The Weikert team gets that, and our job is to help you navigate the sales process and provide smooth sailing. You have questions, we have answers. You have worries, we have solutions. Let us open the door to your future home. Weikert Realtors Lake Point, 608-721-8002, 2045 Atwood Avenue. Find more info at weikert-lakepoint.com.
You're listening to The Shaw, WAUK, Waukesha's home.
Good morning. Welcome to Matenaer On Air. Jane Matenaer, Greg Bach, Sweet Kelsey on the board, coming to you live from our studio in downtown Waukesha. You can always join us, call or text at 855-75-CIVIC, or leave a comment on the live stream if you're watching Facebook, YouTube, or the platform that Elon has ruined. She joins us now every Wednesday at this time for a little Wednesday weather and wine with Brittany Merlot, our Civic Media meteorologist. Good morning, lady. How you doing?
Good morning. I'm fantastic. How are you doing?
Well, let's talk about the end of fall spring.
Fall spring winter.
Fall spring. So we hit records. We set records yesterday, didn't we?
Yes, you sure did. My goodness. 74 degrees in Milwaukee, 77 degrees into Kenosha, just shattering those records.
That's in all of eternity. This has never happened.
No.
Or at
and you
least
know
as
what?
long as they've been keeping records.
Exactly. And I'll tell you what, as long as I've been forecasting, that's for sure. I have never had such extreme temperatures with tornado threats mixed in there and then heavy snow behind it with these cold temperatures in 12 hours.
Yeah, I stood outside. I told Greg earlier in the show that I stood outside from like 8 to 8:20 last night just watching the light show because the lightning display was unbelievable.
It was beautiful.
Yeah, I bet. I was watching live streams of chasers in Illinois because those storms were headed for my hometown. I was like, you got to be kidding me. Stop.
Were you like, oh no, my hometown, or oh no, I wish I was chasing them?
I mean, there are some X's in there that I was like, I kind of hope that. No, I'm just kidding.
Donna Gibson, you can hit her house. I don't care.
Get the house on First Avenue. It'll be fine. So
I'm just
now
kidding.
we're in the deep freeze. So we had all this weather move through, followed by this huge cold front. So how long is this going to be with us?
Isn't this crazy? Not very long. I mean, we took a 50-degree temperature hit for highs. That's how much different it was. I mean,
Yeah.
early this morning, some of us were feeling about 80 degrees difference from stepping outside in the afternoon to stepping outside this morning, which is
It's whiplash weather.
yeah, it really is. And it's not going to be here for very long. I mean, today we're feeling with those winds still a little feisty out there. I mean, they're still gusting up to 40 miles per hour into Sheboygan. It just clocked right now. So wind chills are anywhere in the single digits from above to below zero at the moment. And we'll finally drop to the single digits and teens tonight. And that means tomorrow morning it'll be a little crisp, but we bump up to the 40s by the afternoon.
Yesterday when I got out of the house, it was that feeling of that warm wind of spring. It was
Yes,
like
it was.
45, 48 degrees. And when I woke up this morning and walked out of the house, it was that hard winter wind blowing, just like, oh, here we are.
Yeah, it's a smack back to reality.
It really is, unfortunately. Gosh, I had the patio window open, the door open, the windows open yesterday, and now the heater is on, the space heater next to me.
Yeah, we have a space heater running too. There were people in sandals yesterday and on their bicycles, and everybody was out all over the place. And today, yeah, it's going to be a slightly different story. But if we're back into the 40s later tomorrow, that's not so bad.
No, it's not bad at all. And then by Friday, 50s, Saturday, 60s, Sunday,
Really?
maybe some 70s. So
Yeah.
we're right back on the roller coaster ride up.
Well, and now we have to worry about wildfires.
Yes, we do, because it's just so dry. We haven't had a lot of snow, rain. Our drought conditions are pretty bad. In fact, we're in a severe drought into Southwest Wisconsin and portions of northern Wisconsin as well already.
Well, and it's just worth a reminder, my friends, as it does get nicer and people are going to be out in the woods and doing things outside, and don't have any fires. Just don't. Right. And I'm pretty sure that there are fire warnings right now wherever you are in the States, because think about what happened last year with the wildfires in Canada.
And they said that's what we're going to have to be used to now.
Right. With the smoke that we had, which in all of my lifetime, and I'm 64, has never happened before. So just be careful if you're going to be out and about. And fellow smokers, put it in an ashtray or put it out on your shoe and put it in your pocket.
Yes. Thank you. You don't want to be the reason for that.
Right?
I couldn't handle
one wants
that.
to be responsible for that. Anything else coming up in the next couple of weeks as far as big weather systems or big storm systems, Brittany?
You know what? To be honest with you, yes, we have some active pattern as we go into the first 2 weeks of March. So, in fact, by early next week, we have a chance of a storm hitting us, and then again by next weekend, and it just continues there. So, some relief in the precipitation is headed our way.
Good.
Those temperatures, I think there's going to be a continued little roller coaster here.
So we're going to have a little more ups and downs with 70 to 40 to 70 to 30. It's
Yeah, I
spring in
think so.
Wisconsin.
Yeah.
It's spring in
Yeah.
Wisconsin.
Welcome.
It's spring. It's spring. Enjoy that 2 weeks.
It's a beautiful 2 weeks.
Yeah.
You can never get enough of it.
No.
Brittany Merlot is the meteorologist for Civic Media, and she joins us every Wednesday at this time. Thank you so very much, Brittany. Stay warm. We will talk to you next week.
Sounds good. Thank you. Have a good week.
You as well. A little news that we wanted to get to before we head out of here. And thank you to Dave who gave us the heads up on this on the text line. Majority Speaker Mitch McConnell stepping down as the Senate Republican leader in November after 2 decades in that spot. McConnell turns 82 years old. He turned 82 last week. And I'm sorry, but this kind of makes me laugh. He said, one of the things it's important to know is when it's time to move on. You're not moving on. He's not leaving the Senate. He's just stepping down from the leadership role.
Yeah, Mitch, you should have moved on years ago.
He should have.
I mean, people talk about both presidential candidates being old, and they are older. They are old. The amount of people who are like 65, 70 and older who are in the Senate and the Congress, it's crazy pants. Just move on.
Go spend all your millions.
And millions and millions.
He's been there long enough. I'm sure he's probably saved a little cash.
Oh,
just a little bit. But anyway, that is some of the breaking news from this morning. Mitch McConnell announcing and expected to announce today from the well of the Senate that he will be stepping down as Senate Majority Leader in the Senate, but he's going to stay there, and he plans to serve out the rest of his term, which ends in January of 2027.
Yep. Yeah, he just got reelected, people.
He's not going anywhere.
Awesome.
Stay with us. We have news on the way next, followed by the one and only Todd Alba, and then the inaugural week for Maggie Dawn, the Maggie Dawn Show across the network from 2 to 4 p.m. Stay here. This is the Civic Media Radio Network. Have a great day.
Keeping Southeast Wisconsin informed, engaged, and entertained. This is The Shaw, 540 AM and 101.1 FM, WAUK.